Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Gabby and today I have for you my July wrap up. Now this month I did not read that many books. I read half the amount of books I read last month. I read 5 books. But you know what? That's still good. It's still okay. It's just I haven't been in much of a reading mood that much. So yeah, I'm just gonna get into all the books I read in July. So this month, for whatever reason, I was not in that much of a reading mood. I just wanted to listen to an audiobook to get me in the mood for reading, to get me excited. So the first book that I ended up listening to was the audiobook for This Train Is Being Held by Ismay Williams, and oh boy, did I love this book. I was not expecting to love this book. I had no expectations whatsoever. And wow, I love this. Basically, it's a YA contemporary romance following these 2 high school kids living in New York City. One is Isabel, the well-off white Cuban girl living on Park Avenue with the love for ballet. And the other is Alex, the Dominican boy and baseball player with the secret passion for poetry. And these 2 kids cross paths on the subway repeatedly, and from their chance encounters a romance grows. However, both of them have problems in their personal lives that threaten to keep them apart. Now, I absolutely love this book. I talked about it in my Avatar book tag, so you should definitely check that out. Basically, this book talks a lot about mental health and racial profiling and racial stereotyping. There's also some gang violence and police brutality touched on, not really explored fully, but touched on in this novel. I really liked both of the main characters, Isabel and Alex. I really liked Isabel's character because part of her reminded me of someone I know in my personal life, and the way that she constantly feels like she has to hold up her family on her shoulders or else everything will just fall apart. I really liked Alex's character. I thought Alex was just such a sweetheart. He was just so sweet. He treated his mother so nice. He was just like the perfect son. I do feel like Isabel's character and her story was a little bit more fleshed out and it felt more real. And I don't know if that's just because she reminded me of my friend or if it's because the author is a Cuban woman living in New York, and so I mean, that's just my opinion. That's just how I felt reading the novel, that I felt like Isabel's story felt just a little bit more fleshed out, but that's just me. I really loved the romance between these 2. I was very invested in their romance. I was rooting for them the whole time. I thought their interactions were really, really sweet. And while their relationship was not perfect for obvious reasons that will become obvious when you read the book, but I can't tell you now, I just thought besides those things, their interactions were really nice, and I thought they had like a really healthy relationship going most of the time. And these 2 were taking refuge in each other from their own lives, and almost like this secret like sanctuary place where, you know, being together was the place they could just be themselves without being judged by other people, and just, you know, just exist and be admired and loved for it. And I just thought that was so sweet, and I loved so it's just like, it was just so sweet. What can I say? These 2 15-year-olds falling in love for the first time, it really got to me, dude. I also really liked all the side drama with Brian and Julissa. I thought that was really hilarious. I ended up giving this book 5 stars on Goodreads just purely based on my enjoyment of the book, because how much I loved it when I read it. It's probably more of a 4.5 stars because there were some parts where I was like, I don't know about that. There were some iffy parts. There were some parts where I was like, eh. Like when they were kissing strangers on the subway and Kiara's like, yo, what the fuck are they doing? And then everyone like ignored her and then it was just fine. Or the part where Alex made this really insensitive joke that just felt really out of character. Or this other part where it's just like the disparity between like, oh, Isabel's freaking out worrying she's like some kind of stalker. Meanwhile, Alex just witnessed a gang fight and I'm just like, the disparity. I mean, she doesn't know that, but still the disconnect. But none of those parts were enough to take away from they weren't significant enough in the book to take away from my enjoyment of it, so I still gave it 5 stars. This book made me feel all the feels. It made me laugh, it made me cry, it gave me cravings for guava pastries. I really like guava pastries, they're pretty good, but you know what I discovered is as good as guava pastries, maybe even better? Guava pie. I need to find that now, but no, guava pastries. Really good. You should try some. They're in Cuban bakeries if you want to actually go try some. Highly recommend. Also, now I gotta find guava pie because I need that in my life because it's really good. Yeah, why did I just start talking about food? Anyway, I love this book. It was great. I would highly recommend if this sounds interesting to you. Alright, next book. The second book that I read for the month of July was an ARC I got from NetGalley, so thanks to NetGalley for getting me this ARC, and it was Historically Inaccurate by Shea Bravo. So this book is about a Mexican-American girl, Soledad, trying to get through her first year of college, a year after her mother has been deported. And so she tries joining this history club, but they have a very strange initiation. Basically, Sol has to break into the oldest house in town and steal a fork. Don't ask me why. So she breaks into this house, but the owner's grandson catches her breaking in, and then Sol narrowly escapes, and then drama ensues from there. Now, I did not hate this book, but I did not like this book. Honestly, my feelings about this book were pretty lukewarm. I think the book had a lot of good ideas and ideas that could have been really great, but they were just not executed well. I wrote a full review of this on Goodreads that you should definitely check out because, yeah, just check it out. But basically, I think my biggest problems were with the romance and with the writing of the novel. The romance, I didn't like the romance, mainly because for at least the first third of the book, or arguably for most of the book, Sol and Ethan had no chemistry. No chemistry whatsoever. They had no chemistry. I was reading this arc at the same time I was listening to This Train Is Being Held. The difference. I could tell the difference in one romance and the other romance. The other romance, there was no chemistry. There was none there. I'm not even sure if Ethan had that much of a personality. I don't think he was a fully fleshed out character. Then again, I don't think a lot of the characters were fully fleshed out at all. They all kind of felt a little 2D to me, to be honest. Ethan felt kind of as boring as a sack of rocks. Also, I didn't like that Ethan was acting like this rando college girl breaking in and stealing a fork was the most traumatic thing that's ever happened to him in his life. Like, dude, like, relax. It's not like someone, like, broke into your house and, like, pointed a gun at you and, like, stole all your things. Like, just some random girl broke into your house, screamed, and fell out of a tree trying to escape. So I don't know what, like, he's acting like it's the worst thing ever. Like, oh my god, I feel so unsafe. Unsafe from who? Who do you feel unsafe from? College kids? I mean, college kids can be scary. So maybe that's fair. But it just didn't make sense to me. It didn't make any sense. As far as the writing, it was really the dialogue that was weird at times, because sometimes it didn't feel quite natural or real. Like, it didn't feel like these would be real things that real people would say. For example, there'd be a conversation. The tone of it's all light and funny, haha, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, no warning, one character's talking and then all of a sudden says something really, really deep or woke or whatever. Everyone would be like, whoa, that was really deep. And then all of a sudden the tone would just go back to light and funny again and it'd give me like whiplash. I'm like, huh? What? Yeah, that's how people talk. Anyway, I think what really irritated me about this book was the plot twist at the end. Oh boy, that was... I'm gonna be honest, it was a terrible plot twist. I didn't like the plot twist at all. I just did not like it. I was like, was the whole book just building up to the stupidest, most anticlimactic plot twist ever? And then the foreshadowing I also didn't like. I don't think it was good, mainly because I didn't even realize it was supposed to be foreshadowing. I thought it was just the main character being annoying. I know I'm like talking trash about this book, but I didn't actually hate it. Like I said, there were things that I actually did like about the book. Like, I don't think the writing was bad throughout the book. I think there were parts where the writing was good and I liked the writing. It wasn't consistent throughout the book. It wasn't cohesive. I also really liked the discussion of sexuality in the book, between Ethan and Soul, because it was saying basically it's okay to not know and just be comfortable in the uncertainty of it and just, exist, whatever. I like that. I like that aspect of the book. Personally, I think this book could have been a lot better if the author had taken out the romance because it wasn't good, taken out the whole illegal aspect, breaking and entering plot thing, taken out all that, and if it could have just been Soul joining this club and making all these new friends and creating this sort of found family in college, and that way the characters could have been more fleshed out and we would have seen more of them and it would have been more about their relationships rather than, the book building up to this kind of stupid like climax and then Soul just trying to figure out what she wants to do, which Soul does kind of do in the book, but it's not, I feel like, the plot twist and the breaking and entering stuff and all this stuff, I feel like really detracted from Soul's journey and her confusion and her kind of being lost, because like I did like that because Soul, her whole life like changed so fast and it's been a year and she still is kind of finding new ground and discovering her new normal and trying to figure out how to navigate this sort of new life for herself. And so I feel like if without like the breaking and entering stuff, without the romance, we could have just focused on that, and that way I think her character would have been a lot more interesting and the rest of the book wouldn't have detracted from her development as a character. And I just personally think it could have been a better book that way, but hey, that's just my opinion, so who really cares? But I gave this book 2.5 stars out of 5 on Goodreads. I don't think, just because I didn't like the book, there are people that did like the book, that did enjoy it. I think there are people that will enjoy it. So if this book sounds interesting to you, definitely check it out. Or if you just want to see what your opinion of the book would be, you should definitely check it out. It comes out in September, either September 1st or September 15th. I don't really remember. But yeah, check it out. The cover's really pretty, so it has that going for it. So the last 3 books that I read for the month of July, I did a whole reading vlog on, if you guys want to go check out that. But the 3rd book I read was The Obelisk Gate by N.K. Jemisin. This is the sequel to the 5th season. I read the 1st book, the 5th season, last month, and I talked about it in my June wrap-up. And so this month I read the sequel, The Obelisk Gate, the 2nd book in the Broken Earth trilogy, and I really, really, really liked this book. I said in my reading vlog that I preferred this book to the 5th season. I know some people prefer the 1st book, and looking back on it, it's probably because there is a lot more action and stuff that happens in the 1st book, because there's not really a ton that happens in the 2nd book, to be honest. But personally, I don't know, for whatever reason, when I was reading it, I really liked it more. And I think that's because starting the 2nd book, I am already invested in the story and its characters. Meanwhile, while I was reading the 1st book, it took me at least half the book to get really invested in the characters and the story and really care for them. And so going into the 2nd book, already doing that from the start, I think that's probably why I enjoyed it more. Also, in the 2nd book, we get to see some of the consequences and ramifications of the things that we learned about in the 1st book, and see how those things that occurred in the 1st book played out in present time. And I thought that was really, really interesting. Also, this book did what the 1st book didn't, and made me cry. So I think that's probably why I enjoyed it more, because I just felt more connected to the characters. I felt a deeper emotional connection. I think one thing that this book really, really hit me and made me realize while I was reading it is that these characters are so deeply, deeply flawed. These people aren't heroes. They're not noble. They're not particularly trying to save the world. They're just a bunch of fucked up, broken, imperfect people trying to survive in a world that wants to kill them. This book, I thought it was interesting how this book and this series is basically talking about oppression and abuse and trauma and the effects of trauma and abuse and those things and the perpetuation of that abuse. Almost like it's a never-ending cycle. And it's terrifying. It's terrifying. It's disturbing. It made me cry. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. Are we surprised? No, we're not. The 4th book I read this month was Loveless by Alice Oseman, and basically what this book is about this girl named Georgia starting university with her friends, and she is determined to find love, to find her one, or just to find someone, because she's never had a crush on anyone in her life. She's never kissed anyone, and so she's determined to find love. But going to university, she learns about all these different identities and all these different terms, some of which are asexual, aromantic, blah, blah, blah. And so when confronted with these new terms, these new identities, she has to reflect within herself and think, okay, is love really for me? Is this what I want for myself? And it's basically, that's what the book is about. And I love this book. I loved it. It was great. It was wow. Oh, I forgot. I have the book here. Ha ha ha. I forgot. I also have the Obelisk gate down there. I'm dumb. I forgot. I think the big thing about this book is it literally feels like it's a feel-good, you know, young adult movie, and it feels like it could be so many different movies or books or stories or whatever, but it's not. And it uses a lot of the same conventions that you would see in a lot of movies, and so it has the same setup or foundation, but it doesn't play out how you would expect. And I just really, really like that. It was basically a story about questioning your sexuality and the power of friendship. And I was here for it. I was here for it. It was great. I loved it. Fantastic. I loved the friendships. I loved the friend group. It was great. I love the development of Georgia and Rooney's friendship. I liked how at the beginning I didn't even really like Rooney at first, and then as the book went on I started to like her more and more. I really like Pip and Rooney's dynamics. I think they were so hilarious. I love them. Sunil, I love Sunil. They were my favorite character. They're literally a sweetheart. And I love how Sunil was basically not really part of, you know, any drama, anything. Sunil's just like, I'm just here for the fun. I'm totally oblivious to what's going on. I don't know what's going on over there, but I'm just here to have fun, you know, and it's just so sweet, so sweet. And I wish my friend group could meet their friend group and then we could all have fun and be friends. And it just reminded me of me and my friends, even though like our friend groups are very different. I couldn't help but think about all the times I've spent with my friends at college, and I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. I thought the story was unique and endearing, and I loved it with all my heart. And yeah, that is all I have to say about this. If you want to see my real-time reactions to reading this book, it took me through a whole roller coaster of emotions. I was laughing, I was crying, I was angry. Definitely check out my vlog to see all that, because oh boy, was that interesting. Then the last book that I read this month was Avatar: The Rift parts 1, 2, and 3. So I don't really have that much to say about this book because I expressed most of my thoughts in my reading vlog. So definitely, again, for the third time, definitely check that out. But if you want a quick synopsis of these comics, basically in one sentence, Aang wants to celebrate an old air nomad holiday, but things go wrong. And that's basically what this is about. And so I liked it. I liked the conflict between Aang and Toph. I liked how they both represent the past and the future and that kind of butting heads. I liked that we get to see more of the spirits and the spirit world in the comics, especially since the art is really cool for the spirits and stuff. That's basically all I have to say on that. So those were all 5 books that I read in the month of July. For this month, I'm not going to be doing an August TBR video because there's so many books I want to read, and I don't want to just do a TBR video where I'm talking about, oh, these are all the books I'm going to read, and then I'm going to read like none of them or a fraction of them. But there are some readathons that I'm going to participate in this month, so I'm just gonna shout them out and be like, woo, these readathons. So Avatar: The Last Page Turner readathon, I'm gonna be participating in that. It's actually already started as I'm filming this video, and I've only read 35 pages. But yeah, it's from August 1st to August 14th. It's now August 3rd, and again, I've only read 35 pages. So not much reading has gotten done the first 3 days of this readathon, but I'm going to be participating in that as best as I can. And also, I realized that throughout the month of August, there is the Latinx Readathon, so I'm going to be doing that because that just sounds really, really fun, and I've found some books and some things that I want to read for that and that I can read for that. So I'm definitely going to be reading those and get into that. You should definitely participate in those readathons. I will leave the links to their Twitter pages and you know, YouTubes or whatever down below if you want to check out those readathons. But that is all for this video. If you liked, leave a like. If you want to see more of these videos and of this face, be sure to subscribe. If you want to see more reading vlogs, be sure to subscribe because those will be coming to you. Hopefully. I'm not going to say hopefully. Probably, most likely, yes, definitely those will happen. If you made it to the end of the video, leave a comment, leave an emoji down below. Let's see, what emoji should we do? If you made it to the end of this video, leave a purple heart because I like purple hearts and I like purple. If you couldn't tell, purple. My walls are purple. I like purple, so leave a purple heart. And thank you for commenting because I really like your comments. Even if you comment nothing, just comment a bunch of purple hearts. I will appreciate that because it helps me because you're engaging with my content. But okay, I'm gonna be done rambling now. Thanks so much for watching and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.